Hey, how's it going? Adam here from Local Boss, and I have a very special guest. His name is Daniel Valcastle, and he is a student of Local Boss who really hit the ground running, has already landed clients, and is already getting some really great results. So I wanted to bring him on and, just find out, what he's done, how his progress has been, what he's learned in the process, so that you guys can listen in and learn, get inspired, and maybe take something away to help you implement in your business. So Daniel, thanks so much for coming on the call, my man. How you doing?
Pleasure to be here, and great to be part of the team. Doing great.
Excellent. Fantastic, my man. So Daniel, yeah, you're originally from Barcelona, now living in the USA. So how was the transition?
Culturally, it's fairly easy. I mean, I live in Florida, so it's nice weather year round. I do miss quite a bit of, the cultural life in Europe is at a different level. But really, yeah, we're adjusting well. Yeah, we're enjoying it.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I made a similar move myself about 3 years ago from obviously the United Kingdom
Hmm.
to San Diego. So I definitely understand probably many similar things that you're kind of going through in your transition as well. So looking forward to speaking more about that maybe as well. So in fact, Daniel, what I'd love to know is I guess what you were doing before becoming a student, a Local Boss, just a little bit about your background and your journey, I guess, to this point.
Sure. Well, my background is probably the most unlikely thing you'll ever find in a student of your program. I have a background in linguistics, and the last 15, 20 years I've been translating and interpreting, basically. Um, and as we all know, that sector with technology advances is changing by the day. And that's kind of the hot ashes under my feet, urging me to get a move on and find other sources of income. You know, I just really I was a year ago or so. I just woke up. It's strange, I know, but I just woke up with this fire in my belly to create wealth. I don't know if you've ever been through that, but it's just like I have to do something else other than exchange time for money. Translate a word I don't translate is 6 cents I don't get, and it's ridiculous. So I started looking around, and obviously your algorithms were out there, and I started seeing ads from Local Boss.
Awesome, man. So yeah, so for you then, that's interesting because I think that this is happening for a lot of people in a lot of industries, right? Where technology is essentially replacing humans in most regards.
Mm.
In fact, I was at a McDonald's. Not I actually didn't even go in there. I walked past it, but inside, they had machines now taking the orders, which I found crazy.
Right.
So instead of lining up to speak to someone, you just went up to a screen, you typed in what you wanted, and then you picked your order up. So I can only
Yeah.
imagine, how many jobs were kind of are going to be lost just in McDonald's. They're obviously a franchise that will be implemented in more stores. You've got self checkouts now in stores. You've got companies like Amazon, looking at doing, having robots deliver.
Drone delivery. Yeah.
Drones. Yeah, you've got self-driving cars. So it's actually kind of scary. I don't know how I feel about it all. I'm definitely one for technology, but I'm
Mm.
also concerned about humanity adapting and jobs as well. So,
Yeah.
I guess we will see what will unfold. But I definitely feel concerned about other people, not so much for myself, because like you're learning now, learning skill sets which are going to allow you. A computer can't do what we do, right? Computer can't make that happen. There has to be a touch going on when you're a consultant for a business, things like that. Computers do not have the AI to be a good consultant and tell a business what to do and what ads to run per se. There still has to be human input. And although there are algorithms to help us, it's still such a long way off that ever being the case, right? And
Mhm.
humans will always need to be consultants on even the technology. So, I'm always making sure I'm ahead of that trend. And with yourself now, learning these new skills and learning how to sell as well, is huge. If you can sell, For starters, then you just need to learn new skills to be able to fulfill on what you sell, whatever you're doing. So obviously in the Local Boss program, you're learning not only how to sell, you're learning business, you're learning numbers, you're learning fulfillment, generating leads, which will then, using one method of Facebook, but there's many others which you can then add to your repertoire and learn other skills as well, still adapting the program. So yeah, I think that's really interesting. How, a year ago you kind of woke up and felt like I'm going to build wealth, and good for you, man. Because a lot of people never have that awakening,
Yeah. Well, it's led to very, very good things. And I've only been part of the program for 2 months now, a little over 2 months. And, again, like I say, this is all rather brand new to me. And, you just have to get over, that reticence. You can't be the guy sitting at the top of the slide, overthinking it, and taking 40 minutes. I just took the plunge basically, and I don't regret it at all. That said, for someone like me who, I have no marketing experience, no advertising experience, no sales experience. I was in my little, ivory tower of, textual, literary translation and so forth. What happens often is we pigeonhole ourselves, and we say, I've done this for so long that this is what I do and this is the only thing I do. But getting outside of that comfort, at a personal level, I'm not talking about money or anything, just being able to say, look, I'm going to expand my horizons and I'm going to learn this. It's been very rewarding, personally. If there was nothing else involved, which there is, obviously. But I was a bit hesitant on the sales side of things, talking on the phone. But that's the part I'm enjoying most, believe it or not. And I seem to have a knack for it.
Clearly, yeah. Man. So yeah, 2 months in the program. What have your results been so far? Like what, how many clients have you kind of landed? What kind of revenue have you generated? Where are you at already in like 8 weeks?
I decided from the very beginning, it's been kind of ups and downs, kind of the roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
Part of the program, I said, this is great. This guy has the model. He's going to guide me right through it, step by step. And I got very excited at first. And then I saw basically the program is extensive, and you go through all these programs. And there's one bit where, for example, you say, and now you'll stop and create your website, And I'm scratching my head and think, okay, here I go. Wix, compare this to that. And so just that one step took me maybe a week to get my business name, website, and so forth. The point is, my outlook from the very beginning was more, this is a marathon and not a sprint I'm running. So I just took it step by step. And I decided what I really wanted was 2 or 3 clients, regardless of how the experience went. I just wanted that experience. And if it went well, I wanted the testimonials, basically, before I really launched big. I know you may have your own thoughts on whether that. So what I did is I had a mailing list for an invasive procedure that was about 560 clients, and about 324 opened the email, 18 replied, and from those I got 3 customers.
Wow.
So three signed on, and then about 2 weeks in, one client in Manhattan told me that they weren't getting good results with the leads, and they dropped it. So that that again was a kind of a down, and a kind of, I said, oh. And so right now I have 2 paying clients. One is paying $5,000, and the other is paying $3,000. And the other day I was kind of walking around the house, and my wife asked me, so how's that going, that Local Boss thing? And I said, well, not too good, because I'm doing all these calls and everything. I said, and finally I got around and said, but I have these 2 clients I'm doing, and how much is that? And I said, well, we're netting about $5,000. She said, well, that's amazing. Imagine how much you'd have to translate to net $5,000. So it's going very well for my first 2 months. I couldn't be happier.
That's so interesting, that people have expectations, and then there's reality, right? And yes. And if reality is different to expectations, you can feel down and not happy, right?
Right.
And so in reality, I think that you said your wife, you said that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Your wife kind of brought you back to reality of how well
Yeah.
you're actually doing, right?
Yeah.
You know, you've been in the program 8 weeks, you're netting 5,000 a month, and you're just getting started, right? And what's interesting is, you know, that's amazing. And what kind of program or what kind of thing can you do really in the world where in 2 months you're netting 5,000 a month? There's not many systems that you can actually do that and get those kind of results. And what's interesting is this is super important for someone like yourself who's never been in business. Is it your first business?
First business outside of translation, yes.
Outside translation. So I guess for someone with a new venture like this and the way you're doing it is that you don't know what to expect. And then when you have setbacks, which are completely normal, you know, there are going to be setbacks. There's an entrepreneurial roller coaster. When that happens, you can kind of lose track of how far you've come and how well you're really doing, right? Because it can knock you back and you can get disheartened. However, when you kind of go through it all, you have the ups and downs and you know, the journey, well, the journey never ends, but if you just take a pit stop and look back over like the past like 12 months, right? You're only 2 months in. If you keep going at the rate you're going, increase the volume of emails, increase the phone calls and everything, and you look back over 12 months, it will be like, wow, you know, this will be, you know, it won't be 5,000 net. It could be something like 20, 30, 40, 50,000 net.
I'm aiming for 50.
Aiming for 50? Is that your goal? Yeah. Good.
Yeah. For next year.
Absolutely. And it's just math. Once you have the system, it's just math and consistency.
Just a numbers game. Yeah.
It is a numbers game. And like you said, you got 3 clients, 1 dropped off after 2 weeks. That's what happens in the service business, especially when you're generating leads. You know, not every client is going to hit it out the park, but at the end of the day, you're delivering on what you said you're going to deliver on. Because a lot of businesses are not used to generating leads. In fact, they're not used to having many customers in most instances, right? They're set up for almost failure. They're used to having like people walk in or referrals, you know, once in a blue moon. And that's why a lot of businesses are struggling and why most fail after 5 years, right? You know, I think over half fail after 5 years. So when you come along and you actually generate leads, oftentimes it's a kind of shake up for the business. Sometimes they'll need to even replace the staff they have to handle it because the staff are not used to having, you know, demand created for them in that volume.
Right.
And then, you know, most business owners aren't willing to change. And so they keep doing what they're doing and they're not willing to kind of like be like, okay, I'm getting all these leads in. I'm not used to this. I'm not used to calling people or selling people and convincing people to come in. Usually people just walk in. And so they have to go for that transition. And you know, a lot of companies won't be able to adjust or won't be willing to adjust is more the real thing. So what's good is you're taking these hits now. And when it first happens, it's always the hardest, you know?
Yeah.
The first client's always the best. The first setback's always the hardest, you know, in most instances, unless it's a new setback, right? You know, I have setbacks all the time, you know, people, and I think that's kind of the problem with sometimes the education space in business is and I need to be more conscious myself when I go out there and talk about it, which is why I do these interviews and talk about it openly as well, is you need to talk about the setbacks more. Because otherwise, you paint that pretty picture too much.
That's right.
People's expectations are unmanaged, and they're also unrealistic. And so if you're bringing on clients like that, if I bring on students like that, then there needs to be a kind of fine balance in which I myself in the Local Boss program, I'm going to talk about setbacks more and more. If you notice on the weekly calls that I do, I talk about setbacks a lot. I talk about setbacks, I talk about failures, and I'm going to really bring that into the program and really kind of set expectations. And in fact, what you just said then, it's a marathon, not a sprint. That there is key. You know, that there is absolutely key. And I think a lot of people who come in, and you're not one of them, but a lot of people come in and they lack patience. They want it all now. They think that everything's going to be, you know, rosy.
There's a magic wand there that you're going to wave around.
Wave around, yeah, and everyone's going to love you, and you're never going to have any problems. And business, you know, it's just, it's not realistic.
Right.
And I think that you're understanding that more and more as you do this. And just the fact that, you know, I'm glad that you have your wife there to kind of remind you as well.
Keep my feet underground.
Yeah. But do you know what? It's okay though to be frustrated with that and expect better and want better, because that's when changes happen and when you then adapt and make changes to make things better, you know, and you do that. So that kind of, that frustration is needed, but there's a difference between being frustrated, disheartened, and then quit versus frustrated, disheartened, and then come back stronger and do more.
Right.
And that's kind of the real difference, man. So cool. So 5,000 a month net. So you're doing 8,000, but you're netting 5,000, which is a key metric. So, you know, potential 60,000 a year there, you know, keeping everything as it is, keeping 2 clients consistently. So lose one, you replace them. But realistically, you're going to be aiming for way more than that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Which is awesome. So if we look at the 2 clients, they're worth 2,500 each, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to get to 50,000, let's do the math here. Get to 50,000, 2,500. You need 20 clients is what you need. So you got 2 clients in 2 months, let's say, who have stuck so far. And how many emails did you send to get that?
560.
560. So let's just say you need 10 times more, right? If everything works out the same, you need to send 5,600 emails, right?
Right.
Which really is not difficult, right? Because what you do is it's not 5,600 like the same people. You repeat, follow up, send more emails to the same people. You go into more niches, you get more lists, and you keep going. So that should be a number you should be aiming for. Is I need to send, you know, over 5,000 emails as fast as I can. Look at the numbers, look at the data. Some lists will work better than others, but that should really be your focus now, is a volume game. And something that I learned from Mark Zuckerberg, who obviously, you know, co-founded, invented, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, is he says, we move so quickly that we break things. You know, that's how we grew so fast, be one of the world's most valuable companies. And so that's kind of how I think it should be with most businesses if you want to grow quickly, is you have to move so quickly, things break. And yes, there are going to be, every morning you'll probably wake up to a new crisis of some sort or something like that. But that's how you grow. That's how you get stronger. And before you know it, crisis or problems won't affect you. And you'll just be, you'll almost be numb to it in a way, because you'll know how to handle it and you'll know that everything will be okay in the end. And that's kind of what you will learn. And the only way I can say that is from getting punched in the mouth, figuratively in business many times, having many setbacks, laying on my couch in the fetal position, thinking the world's going to end. You know, I've been there, right? And so going through that and getting up, coming back stronger, and it keeps happening, you just build this kind of thick skin that is necessary to win in business and win in entrepreneurship. And it's kind of like it's kind of like building muscle in the gym. When you go in, you're not going to be able to bench press 250 pounds first session. You got to lift the light weights, and then you get stronger. You drink your protein. You get consistent. You know, maybe you have a setback, you have an injury. You know, but you keep going, and then eventually you're lifting the heavy weights. And
the key is tenacity, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sticking to it. I mean, a good night's rest is invaluable.
Yeah,
and you keep going the next morning, and you start fresh.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you have to know when to take a break as well, right? Like you said, you know, sometimes it's like turn the computer off, go and walk outside, breathe in the fresh air. Because you know what it's like working at home and working on the computer. You can lose focus and lose focus of reality as well, and not realize really what's going on. And sometimes you have to take a step outside, look at everyone working their 9 to 5s, the stress is, because here's the thing. You know, people say, you know, it's so hard to build a business. I agree. But what's harder for me is working a 9 to 5 for someone else, not having a say in the matter, waking up when they say, showing up when they say, being told what to do, not having real control of your life, and not being your own boss. I think that's way harder than growing a business, having clients drop off, having setbacks, handling people. I think that's way harder. You know, that's a much worse life.
That puts it in perspective, because, I mean, until a couple of months ago, I was doing 25 hours a week for another agency as a project manager. And, you know, shuffling paper, signing projects, doing this. I was busy 25 hours a week. And with 2 clients in Local Boss, I'm already getting more with a lot less touch every day. I just check that the ads are working and the client is happy than what I was doing working 25 a week. I mean, it's just a no-brainer. It's just sweat equity. That's for sure. I mean, it is work that, I mean, with your guidance, your previous experience, and that's key to me, because in a way, I'm failing forward on some things. And a good example is I tried to change the wording on one of the ads that you gave us as a sample, and just changing a word, Facebook didn't accept the ad, right? And then I told you, I said, well, you know, and he said, well, you know, there's the ad. I've already have it. I've tested it. It works. Just use that. So I'm making my set of creative mistakes on the go. I can only imagine what I'd be doing if I didn't have the program to guide me along the way. I mean, I wouldn't even be anywhere close to where I am.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The mistake that you made, I'd already made it. So I had already had the ads disapproved, putting in the word diet and fat loss and weight loss. I had already done that. So yeah, that's and what you did is totally normal, because I wish I could say that in the ad, but we can't. We have to get creative, and we have to kind of write it in a way that still gets the right person through the door, you know? So what I'm testing more now in 2019 is writing ads that focus on the pain of the person you want to get through, to make sure that the person who fills out the lead is someone who has a pain. Mm-hmm. If they have that pain, then you know at least they're halfway there. What you don't want is people just filling out the forms just for the sake of it. And so that's what I'm testing more and more now, and what I'm going to be doing when I produce more ads, and I'll be sharing it when I test it more. And this is something for you to test as well.
Yeah.
When you go and create your own versions of the ads and test things out, focus on the pain, but make sure you stay in alignment with the Facebook terms and policies. And if you want to post it in the group as well, if you want to write an ad, try it out with some pain, post it in the group. I'll give you my feedback on it as well, or other people in the group will give the feedback as well. And if I notice anything that I don't think I'd post, I will say it. And just make sure you tag me in it so I see it as well. Because obviously, you know, people, you know, there's sometimes lots of questions one day. And so just make sure you tag me, and I'm happy to obviously help you develop some new ads as well, which is the cool thing about it.
That's great.
Yeah, awesome, man. Hey, thank you so much for coming on, my man. And before we go, what I'd like to ask is, you know, what would you say to someone who's on the fence about joining the program right now?
Don't overthink it. You know, if you want an opportunity that, with, like I say, it requires effort and it requires self-discipline. You know, I've been having, working full time with 4 kids.
Wow.
And then you're trying to pile this on top to learn the program, and that it pays dividends. I mean, it is, it's exciting to me how in two months I'm where I am. And I just say, you know your pain points. Obviously, you know why you're there. So you need the energy to just make the step. Just take the decision. And I encourage anyone to go for Local Boss. I'll be honest, you know, when you're in the state of mind that I was in 3 or 4 months ago, you're looking for business opportunities to expand your revenue stream, to create generational wealth. You know, you're looking at real estate investment. You're looking at this. You're looking at, maybe Facebook advertising, and I check that out. There's a lot of shiny objects up there. They're really, and you get overwhelmed. And I signed up to a couple training sessions, programs before Local Boss. And I think one of them was a scam. So you got to be careful. And I appreciate people who are reticent and when there's money involved to put their money on the line. But I can vouch for the authenticity of this program. And what's really blown me away is the local, the one-to-one interactions. If you have a question, you put it in the group, people respond. It's encouraging, it's motivational. And my experience has been excellent. Thanks for setting it up.
Thank you so much, man. And 4 kids, full time, doing this part time, already netting $5,000 a month. I think you're the superstar, not me.
Thanks for that.
That's amazing. Hey, thank you so much, Daniel. I really appreciate this interview, my man. Take care, brother.
You're very welcome. See you around.
Cheers, buddy.